Good morning. Thank you. The Director General for International Cooperation, she's not presently here, but she was kind enough to host us to a beautiful working breakfast this morning, and we are grateful for that. The Special Envoy for International Water Affairs, Government of the Netherlands, heads of One for All partners, IRC, Water for People, Water for Good, and the events organizing partners. My honorable colleague ministers and representatives in the water, sanitation, finance, health, education, energy, and other political leaders present here. Our heads of country delegations, members of the diplomatic corps, financiers and development partners, water, sanitation and hygiene sector experts, sector partners and institutions from health, climate, finance, and social justice, youth ambassadors, media practitioners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from Ghana, the best wishes also from the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who is a champion of WASH as well as a champion of the SDGs. I am particularly delighted to join you once again at this unique international symposium. I wish to also congratulate our host, One for All partners, IRC, Water for People, Water for Good, and other partners who have successfully brought us together to the All Systems Connect International Symposium. I will also want to pay a tribute to the Dutch government for all that they've done for developing countries, especially Ghana. We have benefited a lot from the Dutch government. And I hope this partnership continues for as long as we are in this fight against poverty and the vulnerables in the society, to give them some respite. I want to share a few quotes that are related to the WASH sector. The most important of them is to recognize, and it's not an actual but paraphrased, that sanitation gives us all dignity. Potable water, people say water is life. No, I qualify it potable, good potable water gives us life. If you drink contaminated water, you know what will happen to you. And when we look at our forests, for those of us from the forest vegetation, we know that animals don't litter. When you get into the forest, it's foliage. You don't see animals littering. So we must also learn from that. Last but not the least, we all know how hygiene is important in our quest to save lives. It is said that if we all wash our hands, we can save 1 million lives a year. The final one that will complement all these others is for us to close our eyes for a second and imagine this our world without water and without sanitation. Imagine how the world will be if we can even fathom as to what the implications will be. That is why connectivity is good. That is why we are here, for the common good of humanity. In 2019, I participated in the All Systems Go and was privileged to deliver the closing remarks, focusing on finding our place in a shared agenda and how political leadership can catalyze progress towards the achievement of the water, sanitation, and hygiene targets. In 2022, the government of Ghana proudly co-hosted the first All Systems Go Africa Symposium with IRC, UNICEF, and other partners. This was a unique opportunity that brought together over 250 participants and delegates from 25 African countries and beyond to examine the lessons learned from the review of progress and critical changes needed to achieve the water, sanitation, and hygiene targets in Africa. Delegates concluded that the sub-Saharan African countries needed greater political commitment and stronger investments in governance, management, and operating systems to get back on track to achieving the goal of wash services for all. I can feel from my colleague ministers that we all have the political will. And I can feel from the experts that accompanied us that they are going to collaborate with us to deliver. We also have a feeling that our partners are with us in this together. It is gratifying to see many of you once again, and more exciting to note that this global level symposium has moved beyond talking to ourselves within the sector to include other sectors that connect with WASH, such as health, climate change, and social justice. I also see more country delegates with high-level political representations. It is therefore right and proper to recognize the leadership of my fellow government representatives here, namely the Honorable Abida Mia-Siddiq, Minister of Water and Sanitation from Malawi, my sister. His Excellency Ambassador Asfau Dengamo Kame, State Minister, Ministry of Water and Energy from Ethiopia. His Excellency Dr. Dereje Duguma Gemeda, State Minister of Health from Ethiopia. His Excellency Semerata Sewasau Aweki, State Minister of Finance from Ethiopia. Honorable Leslie Lorena Samayoa Jerez de Hamosela, Technical Vice Minister, Ministry of Public Health and Social Assistance from Guatemala. Honorable Roberto Carlos Ramirez Alvarenga, Vice Minister of Credit and Public Investment, Finance Secretary from Honduras. Ambassador Bobby Whitfield, Chairman and CEO, National Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Commission from Liberia. Honorable Arvind Chaudhry, Principal Secretary, Minister of Environment and Forest, Bihar from India. I hope I got all these pronunciations correct. If I didn't, please pardon me. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to make some remarks on the topic, strengthening all systems, building resilience with water, sanitation, and hygiene, with a view of a wider public services. It's very, very important to include the resilience, the word resilience, in the topic, because we all know the havoc being wreaked on us by the climate change phenomenon that we have. The 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda recognizes the centrality of water resources and the vital role that improved drinking water, sanitation, hygiene services play in advancing other related areas such as health, education, equity, and poverty reduction. The fact remains that to reach universal access to drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene by the year 2030, the current rates of progress would need to increase fourfold, if not more. This calls for a clear and deliberate shift from business as usual, we therefore have a lot of work to do. I know, and I'm convinced, that we are all very, very capable. So let's get our act together and connect to deliver. It is worthy of note that Ghana has always made strides towards the attainment of global targets and goals. Ghana achieved the then Millennium Development Goals target for water in 2010, 5 clear years before the target date of 2015. Regrettably, the same feat couldn't be achieved for sanitation. Realizing the huge challenge of attaining targets for sanitation and also consolidating the gains made for water, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, a co-chair of the Sustainable Development Goals, advocates emeritus believes that using and adapting systems approaches for improving wash service delivery will contribute immensely towards the achievement of the SDG 6. Hence, the setting up of the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources when he assumed power in 2017. This was to give focus, impetus, and a courageous approach to the delivery in the wash sector. And I can say authoritatively that, yes, indeed, there are some challenges, but we are delivering. We are on track. And we appeal to all of us to appreciate what we do instead of what we cannot do. What we can do instead of what we cannot do. There is nothing impossible in this game. We need to deliver. And more importantly, as population increases. So we are taking care of the present and taking care of the future at the same time. The recent disturbing global developments, including the worst global health pandemic in over a century, and the resulting economic challenges has taught us many lessons. To turn things around, recover and build resilient economies requires a systems approach. As system leaders, we need to think, act, and work differently to connect systems and drive change. It is essential that as we build resilient systems to deliver wash services, we also connect to other systems such as in health, agriculture, and urban development, because the multi-dimensional challenges we face cannot be solved by the fragmented and siloed thinking of the past. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I was privileged to be part of the 2023 UN Water Conference co-hosted by the governments of Tajikistan and the Netherlands. And I went back home to reflect on why for 47 years water was hidden from the UN agenda. We thank God and we must applaud the UN and the host countries for giving us a voice this time. And it's not going to change. We are going to progress from there. This was a watershed moment to mobilize member states, the UN system, and stakeholders alike to take action and bring successful solutions on a global scale to water delivery services. The UN Water Conference closed with the adoption of the Water Action Agenda containing almost 700 commitments. It is now time to move from commitment to action so as to accelerate the pace of progress. In advancing towards this goal, we as governments, the custodians of the development agenda, should double up in providing national systems leadership by engendering support and creating the enabling environment that will allow delivery of safe and sustainable services to everyone. I must say here, we, the political leaders, along with our experts, we all need to be in the driving seats to be able to deliver as we have promised to our people. In this direction, I made it known at the 2023 UN Water Conference the intentions of the government of Ghana to develop a presidential compact for water, sanitation, and hygiene. This will be anchored at the presidential level to illustrate and bolster government's leadership and commitment to make universal access to wash services for all Ghanaians as a reality. And here I want to just give two examples of what we are doing in our country. Water coverage is now 87.7%. I know we need to move up a lot in the sanitation space. We are trying to think outside the box to involve the private sector in both water delivery, especially in our rural areas, as well as in the sanitation sector. Government has, on the back of its own economy, borrowed $1.4 billion to provide water to approximately 5.7 million Ghanaians. And we always, as a policy, make sure that we take into consideration population growth for the next 10 years. This is helping us a lot. Another policy is to make sure we serve all rural villages and towns en route as to where we pick the raw water from, the source. Everybody en route is giving water during the project. This commitment will include pushing through two pieces of legislation which will establish the National Sanitation Authority. In fact, government has established a sanitation fund to help us take care of sanitation in the country. And this Sanitation Authority will be realized very soon. We are also converting the Community Water and Sanitation Agency from a facilitator and project implementer to a rural water utility, mandated to bring efficient, safe, and professional services even to our most isolated rural communities. We are pursuing a transformative agenda in the wash sector by enhancing private sector participation, as I said, in water supply. We have established a household fund, and this help was given by UNICEF to install, for families to install their own toilets in their homes, as well as increasing public and private financing for the wash sector. And this will bring our wash delivery to the level that is required. Indeed, we are committed to showing leadership by overseeing national sector change and reform with the end goal of creating strong and resilient national systems, delivering safe and resilient wash services to every Ghanaian. We all know the havoc that we all face when there are floods in our countries. Floods can wash away humans, buildings, cars, and our toilets are not spared, especially in the rural areas. This is where the biggest challenge is. So it's like taking 2 steps forward and maybe 2 or 3 steps back. We need to re-engineer our toilets for the rural setting to make sure we have resilient solutions to these problems. Our commitment also involves strengthening the management and governance of our water resources to better manage the trade-off between water, environment, and development, and to make Ghana resilient in the face of current climate change. It equally involves working closely with the health sector to ensure better health outcomes and well-being for all Ghanaians. I will say proudly that because of the sensitization we've been giving to our populace, since 2017, we haven't had any outbreak of cholera neither have we had any outbreak of dysentery. And we'll keep on working in that direction to save lives, especially children's lives. Thank you. Other interrelated sectors such as agriculture, energy, industry, among others, are equally deemed important to the achievement of our goal for universal water and sanitation services. Distinguished delegates, it is vital that we work together across traditional boundaries and connect in ways that support shared action and outcomes to maximize our collective impact. It is significant to note, however, that governments cannot do it all alone, hence the need to connect from top to bottom and from the bottom-up approach that we want to adopt. We are system leaders in various ways. Together, we find our place in the system. And in harmony, we build a resilient system that will ensure the provision of sustainable wash services to all. To our cherished development partners, we count on your support in the development of ambitious, bold visions and strategies, and on delivering them with the requisite tools and skills to help with reform and system strengthening. In Ghana, we have updated and reviewed our water policy. We've also churned out a lot of policies in the sanitation space, and these are all available online. We are ready to share. We need to share experiences. We need to share expertise. We need to share skills, and above all, knowledge. We need to copy best practices around the world. I always say that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. You see the wheel and you adapt it to your sociocultural setting, and we will get there. By participating in this symposium, the Ghana delegation hopes to share lessons in driving forward access to safe water, sanitation, and hygiene through our systems leadership. We are also here to learn from our colleagues, from our experts, from our leaders, so that we can enrich what we are doing back home. We all look forward to connecting, sharing, and learning from our delegates' experience. This gathering should inspire all of us as system leaders and thinkers and practitioners so that we can advance our aspirations. This symposium will definitely connect people, ideas, systems, and solutions to achieve justice for all. I'm convinced that we are all motivated to find space within the ladder of this system. Dear colleagues, we are all in this to succeed so that we can impact humanity positively, so that we can improve and enrich the lives of our people. So please, let's connect and let's get it on. Thank you.